Welcome, everyone, to the Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame show as the Rangers are victorious at New Jersey over the Devils, 3-1. Great to have you with us from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito, Henrik Lundqvist, Steve Alakette. Rangers in the second period get 1 shot on goal. Rangers in the third period get 3 shots on goal. And they win anyway.
Yeah. You know what? You talk in hockey, you need a max effort, but sometimes you have to do a little less to get more. Last game in New Jersey, the Rangers tried to do too much, especially in the second period. It didn't work at all. Tonight, they were just sitting back, and they didn't give the Devils anything. It was a smart period. It was actually impressive to watch how they were sitting back and waiting for any type of mistakes, and the power play came through in the first period to kind of give them that energy and confidence that they needed. But the key was just not try to do too much, and it was great to watch.
You know what I think they did, guys, was they sucked the rhythm out of the game that the Devils were trying to impose on them. They wanted it to be a fun, loose, go, you go, we'll go together and have a rush game, and forget it. They didn't want it. They shut it down. I think Georgiev had a sneaky, really strong game there, undercover a little bit, but it certainly made saves when it mattered.
And you saw a couple saves, especially in the third. He was standing up. His patience was really good, and that's a great sign of confidence.
Yep.
When you stand up and you read the shot instead of just dropping to your knees. So he played really well.
Great game. The PK, I thought, toyed. I thought the Rangers PK toyed with the Devils, too. Like, it was pretty sad at times. I thought they did a great job. Last point. The Ranger fans, you guys took over the Prudential Center, all right? You took it over, and that was noticeable. I mean, you could hear the Ranger fans when the storm was coming. You could hear it. They shut down everything there, and that's a good outcome for a game that could have gone either way when you started it. You know, it's just you were wondering.
Georgiev ended up with 20 saves. And, you know, it's interesting. You go back over the story, Steve, of the game. Rangers down 1-0.
Yep.
Braden Schneider, the rookie defenseman, comes up with a huge sequence.
We've seen this a lot with Trouba, right? Step up, make a big hit. You know, he smokes Boquist, right? And at this point, don't forget, the Rangers are losing 1-0. And now he steps up because the Rangers are defending so hard back. Then he answers to Sharangovich. Sharangovich, importantly here, gets the instigator and gets beat up. And that just riles the bench. I mean, the bench is standing up. Everybody's pumped up because the young Schneider, who was terrific in this hockey game, maybe even arguably the best defenseman in the game, imposes his will. And he's going to be around a long time. That's a message sent.
And what makes this play even better is the Rangers goes out and score on that power play. And it's been the story all year, how important the power play has been for the Rangers. But they had 2 chances, and they scored on both. And especially after a play like that, a young kid that steps up and play physical, it's going to be huge going down the stretch to have guys the willingness to play like that. It sets the tone and it sends message to the opponents, but also it gives energy to your own team and to the bench. So you can see that.
That was awesome.
Rangers have the 4th best power play in the league, and the power play that you're talking about after the Schneider sequence. Ryan Strome missed the last 4 games with a lower body injury on that power play, ties the game at 1.
Well, the key for me is the Rangers have 2 quarterbacks. You have Panarin and you have Fox. And when they run indecision on everybody, it really pays its toll because it opens up ice as long as they're recovering pucks quickly. Now, watch Kreider, okay, because he's the key here. Zibanejad moves the puck back. Kreider takes his route to net front, but they want to set up this play. Fox and Panarin, they want to set it up on the right side of the ice, and they want to run these options once they get into their triangle. Now, you can see that Strome's a passing option. Kreider can give it to Strome or shoot it himself, and the Devils aren't aware of it. They have wide open ice there. Strome kills the play. And on the very next power play, you see them try and get into the same setup. They recover the puck once again. The quarterbacks are moving the play around. Now Strome is offset. He's really in Zibanejad's spot, so it's okay though. They're both righties, and they switch spots. They recreate the triangle again, and now Panarin this time shifts it down to Kreider, where he's able to, instead of passing it back to middle, angle his stick. And the key is really the lack of awareness of the goaltender, because he's trying to cheat now back to middle, and he leaves the post.
100% was aware of that that first play, and then the second time, I'm not going to go for it again. So he doesn't really commit to Kreider. And we've seen this a couple times throughout the year where Kreider, he just angle his stick like that. Not a lot of players can do that from that angle. It was a great goal, but 100%, that first goal played a little prank on Dawes in that situation.
For sure.
He should have committed to that tip a little bit more, but that's what happens. You know, as a goalie, you do remember what happened on the last play, and you want to make sure you're in good position for that pass coming back into the middle. But it was no pass into the middle. It was a straight in. So great play by the Rangers. And watching this, you also try to figure out, how do you defend this power play? Because they have so many weapons. The way they move the puck, the patience, the top guys, they're so patient with the puck. And that's a scary feeling for anybody on the PK, because you don't know when you can go out or you sit back, and there's a lot of thinking going on. Instead of just reacting, you try to figure out what these guys are thinking when they're making their moves.
You think it's the best power play you've seen the Rangers have?
I was thinking about that. As you're talking and watching this, like, I don't think I've seen this type of power play by the Rangers since I got it. I remember my first year back in 2005 with Nylander and Jágr. They scored a lot on the power play, but I think this has more weapons, the way they move the puck and the patience, and it's been great.
They just got to find a way to get on the power play more often.
No one scored more power play goals now in a single season in the history of the Rangers.
Right.
Kreider, 25th power play goal, franchise record, 10th game-winning goal this year, Steve and Henrik, franchise record. Now, Justin Braun, playing left D, right-handed shot, was in the top six, starting with Schneider, and he scored his first goal as a Ranger in the third period in his third game as a Ranger.
I thought this goal summed up the night because there was so much back pressure from the forwards. The defense could stand up. And look, this play, it happens almost 200 feet away from the net, but Braun is able to step up because Panarin and Schneider are closing. So you're getting help. And look, I hear it all the time from forwards and defensemen talking in game. We can't stay up unless the forwards come back, and vice versa. So you see Schneider now, who again has an outstanding night, gets the puck in deep. Panarin once again wins a battle down low, and the puck is alive. Everybody gets to get into their in-zone setup. Everybody's running their routes, and they're clean. And you get a simple D-to-D here, and this thing explodes off his stick. I couldn't believe it. You know, it really does. And I was like, oh my goodness, who's shooting that? I mean, he loaded it. And look, it was kind of news to me, too. That was his 6th goal of the year. And I didn't know that he was that high. I got to read the game notes.
But back to your point, the back check was very good. And for the D, it makes a huge difference when you see the guys coming back and you don't allow the opponent to turn up or give them room and space in front of the blue line or in the slot, because then that gives the D-man more confidence to stand up. And if you have the opposite, where you don't have the back check,
you can't.
You back up way too much. And I think that was a key in this game. We talked about it after the first period, how much they were skating, the Rangers. Both offensively, but especially defensively. They were coming back hard. I'm sure they talked about last game, and they said, we're not going to do that again.
See, Billy Hank wouldn't know this because he was never on the bench. But what would happen is the defense will get back on the bench, and they'd yell at the forwards, we can't stay up unless you come back. Yeah. And that was always the battle. And I was in the middle of it, of course. like playing ping pong out there. But no, that's a defensive master-level performance by the Rangers. And look, they did it in Pittsburgh a week ago. You don't see it for 3 games, and they were able to get it back tonight.
All right, Rangers win 3-1. Want to remind everyone, the rest of the way, where the Rangers are on national TV, we are going to have a pregame show here and a postgame show, beginning with Thursday's game against Pittsburgh, pregame at 6:30. At the Flyers, April 13th, that's a national game. We'll have pre- and post-game coverage. And at the Bruins on April 23rd, we'll have pre- and post-game coverage. So we don't have the game, we got you covered right here the rest of the way on our family of networks.